This is the last 12 songs of Christmas for 2023. I'm Alex Rawls, and 12 songs will go on hiatus till Christmas in July, when we'll be back for our 7th season. I'm closing out the year with a hometown episode, focusing on a new EP of holiday hip-hop, Christmas in New Orleans. I think there's something really healthy about the way young indie artists that would have dismissed Christmas music as corny a decade or two ago are now finding ways to express themselves in that form. I hear and find a ton of it, and Jim Goodwin finds another ton over at ChristmasUnderground.com that I haven't heard before. Before we get to Christmas in New Orleans, though, let's do a last-minute roundup for the holiday season, starting with Cher. I wrote about her first Christmas album, Christmas, back in October for the Daily Beast. And the track that her team and the label has got behind is the club-friendly DJ Play a Christmas Song. It caters to the audience that got on board with Believe, but the song that became one of the songs of the season for me and my family is far nuttier. Drop Top Sleigh Ride. For me, it's Cher at her Cheriest, hitting those signature low notes in the first verse while singing the battiest lyrics without treating it as a joke. Hit the town on a candy cane high is one of the lines of the year, and she handles it with ease. Add to that killer pop hooks, and it's the real star of the Cher Christmas album. And she starts off with cheerleader cadences, as you'll hear. This is Drop Top Sleigh Ride on 12 Songs.
Hey, are you ready to roll from LA to the North Pole? Are you ready? I'm a jingle bell away, and these reindeer just won't wait. Honey, I can't let this party start without you. Are you ready for some sugar and some spice?
Pianist Robert Glasper released in December exclusively through Apple Music, and it's a very interesting jazz Christmas album. The track that gets me most is Memories with Mama, a collaboration with Tariana Tank Ball from New Orleans Tank and the Bangas. It's a spoken word piece with Ball continuing her project of presenting a vision of black life that doesn't get much play in the media. She's nostalgic for Christmases before Hurricane Katrina changed so much, which is undeniable, even though it's now 18 years in the past. That length makes me wonder if the melancholy she's talking about isn't something more basic, a kind of things were better back when impulse. But Ball and Glasper make me buy in while the song's going on. And since Katrina was such a pivotal moment in my life too, I'm never going to say someone else's recollections and experiences are wrong. This is Memories with Mama on 12 Songs.
You know what I used to love? I used to love how Mama would leave the presents under the tree with a note that said, "Thank you for the milk and cookies." But I always knew it was her because of the handwriting. I knew it was her because of the rapping or tapping into that soft spot, that place where black mothers live. In between smacking you upside your head and working extra hours for Christmas gifts. But I guess that's what Christmas is for.
This isn't new or technically music or music focused, but my Christmas isn't complete without a viewing of 2019's The Casey Musgraves Christmas Show. She released the very good A Very Casey Christmas in 2016, and in 2019 she brought those songs to TV life on Amazon Prime on a very conceptual Christmas show. It's like a Christmas special from the 70s, with stiff, unfunny jokes that exist solely to get to the next musical number. But in this case, it appears to have been written with that vibe in mind. It's deliberately unfunny, and that's the funny part. Musgraves and guests James Corden and Fred Armisen seem to grasp the nature of the whole project, so it's charming and weird and funny, and so much that I have to see it every year. An honorable mention along the same vein goes to 2015's A Very Murray Christmas, which is a Bill Murray Christmas special filmed by Sofia Coppola. It's also awkward and strange, but it never quite gets to the satire of Christmas specials. It lives in its own weird space. Fortunately, that space also allows for moments of poetry, The highlight being David Johansen and Maya Rudolph singing Todd Rundgren's I Saw the Light to each other, after Jason Schwartzman and Rashida Jones did the same just moments before. Johansen and Rudolph sing it as people who've lived long enough to have been roughed up by love and understand the stakes. So there's a tenderness and compassion in their performances that Todd Rundgren couldn't imagine then or now. Last TV special that I look for every year, the Dolly Parton 2020 Holiday on the Square, which plays like a Gap ad come to life much of the time. It doesn't border on camp. It swan dives into camp and begs for people to work out Rocky Horror-like routines to accompany it. Christine Baranski embraces her Scrooge-like role as if she was an aging British actor in a nightcap and brocaded robe, which is even funnier next to the homespun, suburban shopping center vibe the special otherwise radiates. Since Casey Musgraves had the best Christmas album of the bunch, we'll go to A Very Casey Christmas and Present Without a Bow, a duet she performs on the Casey Musgraves Christmas special with Leon Bridges.
We've been moving too fast. We should slow down. Come and sit by the fire. Stop rushing around. 'Cause this time of year, it's meant for two. So don't leave me lonely if I don't have you. The holiday's just another day that's cold.
Today's conversation on Christmas in New Orleans is with Raj Smoove and 504icygrl. Raj is a longtime DJ, producer, and guy behind the scenes for a lot of independent hip-hop and R&B in New Orleans. Icy is part of the crew he's currently working with. The EP is a showcase for those artists, and it opens with Poppy H's In the Spirit, so we'll start there, then come back to talk about the uneasy relationship between hip-hop and Christmas music on the other side.
Why you got all that red on? How you don't know it's Christmas time? Sounds like got me not know. Double cup in my eggnog. Shorty bag can't play it off. I'm cooking up a naughty list. Play my favorite Christmas songs. James Brown Christmas hits. I've been bad my whole life. Learned how to play it off though. She look bad, I can't lie. Need her under that mistletoe. Holidays you miserable or water, he ain't feeling it. I be in the spirit though. Posing for my Christmas pics. Why you got all that red on? You know what that do to me. I love that little two-piece. Just like milk and cookies.
Let's get started in simple place. What's the story behind Christmas in New Orleans?
The main story behind Christmas in New Orleans is collaboration between New Orleans hip hop and rap artists. Just being in the spirit, being together, uplifting each other, and making memories together.
When did it start? When did you start working on it?
We started working on Christmas in New Orleans at the end of October, going into November.
Oh wow, okay.
So we
I feel
got
like the idea was around before then, though.
The idea has been around, yeah. But we first got them beats into October, going into November.
Oh, okay. So by Christmas standards, that the Christmas business usually starts. Records are coming out in October. Why? What put it on the time frame that it did? That it came out as? Because it just came out beginning of December, right?
Yeah.
It was really kind of a production schedule thing. Because, we have been like talking about it since August, but, we had the Fried project that came out. There were some other things that were going on, with the other artists that we had featured on it. So it was kind of, we got it out as soon as we possibly could. But, like with holiday music, it does have that brief window where it can exist, but that window pops open every year. Yeah. So even though it might have just came out, last week, as soon as Halloween wraps up next year, we can be like, hey, remember Christmas in New Orleans? Like it's something that has a long shelf life just because it only gets so long in the sun.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll tell you, one of the reasons I wanted to do this, besides the fact that I like it a lot, was because the business of this interests me. I can tell you, one of the reasons I'm interested in Christmas music is because for me, it's the place where art and creativity and business come together kind of most nakedly, because you're making music for a specific moment, and it's something that, as you say, you come out at one point now, but you know if you make it work, you can be out this time next year and next year and next year and next year. So, Raj, tell me. So, give me the business side. Give me like what was your because I get other record labels, other artist groups that also send me their collaborations or their compilations, and so give it to me from the business side. Why you would do this now?
I'm always a big proponent of great ideas. So like I feel like if an idea is really great, we can figure out a way to monetize it once we solidify it in some form of fashion. So, like there have been hip hop Christmas songs like Run DMC and Curtis Blow, like Snoop Dogg had a Christmas song, TLC had like a big Christmas song. But when you think about Christmas, you don't really think about hip hop or the rap community that much. So, I think it's a great idea to do something different and have an angle on the Christmas holidays from a hip hop or rapper's perspective that's not your traditional Christmas standard type songs. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like coming here and doing our own version of Jingle Bells or Deck the Halls or something like that. But, as a time, because everybody looks forward to the most part for the holidays in some form of fashion, whether it's, being with your family, whether it's, you just like getting presents or whatever the case may be. So, getting with our friends and, our fellow artists and finding what it is that you all like about the holiday or means something to you, and then putting that on a record, so it's not necessarily, a bunch of, Santa Claus, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer songs, but it's definitely something that comes from a honest perspective of what the holidays mean to us.
I want to come back to the relationship between Christmas music and hip hop, but before we do that, I want to go back to sort of a more basic idea. Tell me about why putting out Christmas music seems like a way to introduce people to artists that in some cases they might not know, artists who are emerging, artists who are ready to go to the next level.
Nobody else is really doing that. Like there aren't, any hip hop albums like that you hear like, oh, it's a Bad Boy Christmas or it's Cash Money Christmas. So, there's a lot of space in that lane for Christmas music that's, hip hop. Mariah Carey kind of like runs the season, and you have a whole lot of, again, like the traditional Christmas standards that get sung. But to have a fresh take on Christmas is something new for people to listen to. You know what I'm saying? So if we can attract that attention, in nowadays economy, attention equals revenue. Yeah. In all the different ways. So the more attention that we can bring to us and other people that we work with and that we're affiliated with, the better it is for everybody's career.
Okay. So walk me through us. Who's us? Is this people who you are managing or working with, producing? What's the group here that we're working with?
So I have the Gentilly Agency, where I work with and represent different artists, and I work directly with Icy Girl and with Poppy H. And, within that, we have like circles of other folks that we work with on a regular basis and that we have relationships with. A lot of the people on the project are folks that Icy has been wanting to do stuff with and work with. Odd is close in the camp. She's been working on her new project. Indies is affiliated, like she's over here a lot at the studio, just like hanging out. So it's like, let's get you on something too. So
it was a lot of friends and family going on with the camp.
Oh, that's cool. So what drew you to the project? I mean, Icy, what made you think like, here's what I've got to bring to Christmas or talking about Christmas?
Lately, I've been wanting to grow closer with my family, and I recently moved back to New Orleans. So I've been very indulged in the holidays in general lately. So I don't know. It's just been really in the spirit, and that's what drew me the most to the project. Just being hype about being in New Orleans, being around my friends and my family, and now I can play them these really warm songs, like to let them know this is how I feel.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, tell me where you at. I'm in Nola. Don't you miss us when you see us on your map. Come on, say Nick, 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 Nick. Come on, say Nick, 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 Nick. Come on, say Nick, Nick. Come on, say Nick, Nick. Come on, say, come on, say, come on, say, come on, come on. I'm talking West Bank, 9th Ward, 17th, 3rd Ward, East Side, Uptown, Edges, Metro. West Bank, 9th Ward, 17th, 3rd Ward, East Side, Uptown, Edges, Metro. Don't forget us on your map. 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 Don't forget us on your map.
You know, it's interesting. You know, I mean, earlier Raj was saying there's not a long history of Christmas hip hop, and I know when I've talked to people in the past that some people find Christmas too corny, or too corny to sing about, to rap about, and to work into music. So, how did you square that circle? How did you make that work?
Man, I battled with that a lot with this project, especially with the bounce song that I made. But I got away with it with feeling like, bro, this is for the family. This is for the kids. Like, is it really corny? Like, who says it's corny? Like, what is corny? Like, I don't know. I battled with it a lot until I was like, this is for the family. Like, my family not going to think this corny. Like, it's just so many people that can listen to my music. I need to stop making music for just a certain different types of people. And I feel like this type of project opens that up to more people who just love good music in general. Like,
well,
but I definitely battled with the corniness.
Yeah.
I would also say that Icy is as an artist is very fun. So, there's just in hip hop in general, not taking yourself too seriously to where you can do some things like you don't have to be hard at the all the time. You don't have to be gangster all the time. Like there can be some fun moments, and you can smile and do something that is a little bit silly, So doing a bounce song about, like Santa Claus, come put us on the map, like what I'm saying? Like it's a little bit silly, but like that's all right. Like we can have fun in hip hop as well. So like I think this is a good opportunity for the artists we work with, and that we're close with, to have an opportunity to do something they wouldn't normally do.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it for sure.
Yeah, and y'all can correct me on this, but you probably know from like looking at your audiences that you probably play enough gigs, and New Orleans rappers play enough different gigs that you're not only talking to teenagers and up, that you play gigs where there are kids. And so in a lot of ways, that a family audience for New Orleans hip hop is actually probably a more accurate take than just trying to talk to sort of a target market. Does that, am I right on that?
Definitely. Like you want to be able to expand your fan base again, because your fan base, your customer base is your revenue streams. You know what I'm saying? So the wider audience and the larger net that you're able to cast, you're able to, get more of those dollars coming in. So again, like, attention is equity, is leverage. That's how people gauge a lot of things today. So the more attention we're able to get by being able to tap into those larger audiences and being able to, perform in places that you couldn't normally do it. Like a lot of people's material, you couldn't necessarily go into a kindergarten and perform that. But, with this stuff, you can do that. And Icy was very specific. Like, we didn't want anything too explicit, no vulgar language, no cursing, because, we don't want to have to make an edited version of this.
Right. That's a great take. Icy, talk on that, because I think that's interesting. Go ahead.
Definitely, I wanted to keep the project as clean as possible, which we also struggled with, but we did it pretty well. I wanted to do that because I wanted any family to be able to listen to this. Like a lot of families, they don't want the kids to listen to cursing and all that. And I completely agree and I'm with it. But we starting to get, younger fans. And I I love the youth and I want to keep giving them music to jam to with their family, but it's also, you know, cool to them because we didn't make it like super clean. Like we just made it clean enough. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. To be able to play for your friends, family, at your store, at your restaurant, etc.
Yeah. Well,
it's not offensive.
I'm sorry, Raj, go ahead.
No, I was saying it's not offensive.
Right.
Yeah, it's not offensive. Mm-hmm.
So, from a business perspective, at reaching a young audience, reaching, you know, a preteen audience. I mean, I know that's not who this is specifically aimed at, but you can reach those people. How did those people factor into an artist's future? Raj, you've had enough experience with this. You can probably talk on that a bit.
So most of your larger like your large like superstar, you know, artists have had a fan base that has been able to grow with them. You know, like, you know, if you talk about, you know, Beyonce, who started early and was in her teens, you know, over the last 30 years, her fan base has grown with her. Michael Jackson started when he was a kid. So, you know, in that era, you had, you know, anybody who was able to listen to music had started hearing Michael Jackson songs and they were able to grow with them. So as an artist, if you're able to tap into those, you know, super younger demographics that become fans of you, you know, they'll be fans of you for life. You know, like I still like listening to the music that is kind of nostalgic for me when I was in elementary school and junior high school, like, you know, my quote unquote good old days, because those songs were kind of like the soundtrack for me growing up and me coming of age and, you know, a whole lot of first experiences and all of that type of stuff. So to be able to do like a Christmas project that a younger audience can enjoy and attach these songs to good memories, you know what I'm saying? That, you know, like when you walk in a house, you know, when I used to walk in my aunt's house, there was a certain warmth that they had in the house because the oven was on all day and a certain smell, and the fact that, you know, every Christmas the Temptations record would come out and they would put it on the record player and you would get all the crackles and the song would play. Like all of that forms a specific memory in my mind. So to be able to create something musically that can operate in those areas and in those experiences, those times with family, then you get an opportunity to create an emotional connection with an audience that will stay with you for the rest of their life. And, you know, they'll possibly become a fan of the other stuff that you do, you know, once they're old enough to, you know, really partake of all of that as well.
Right.
You know, but, you know, you want people to be lifelong fans.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, and by the way, Temptations, Silent Night.
Yes, definitely. Especially when it's that solid, like that super low note, like, yeah, come on. There's a certain demographic where it's Temptation Silent Night and then it goes over to Mariah Carey. But like that Temptations record, like, you know, without fail, every Christmas that was coming out.
Yeah.
You know?
What was coming out in your house, Icy?
In my house, we always listen to the James Brown Christmas album. Nice. Back to back, my grandma loved. Mainly that. That's the one that I remember genuinely, and Mariah Carey, who was also a Mariah Carey household as well.
Do you always like Christmas music?
Definitely. I'm a pretty festive person around the holidays in general, so I would say yes.
All right.
Yes.
So you wrote Saint Nick, Where You At? And do you co-wrote Gimme Gumbo? I know you're on it. Okay.
Yep, I wrote my verse on Gimme Gumbo. I wrote that verse like a poem, and then I put it to the beat. It was really funny.
And that you collaborate with Corzo 504?
Yes.
Tell me
Good
about
friend of
Corzo.
mine. Corzo is a really good friend of mine. He's a Hispanic artist. He makes Spanglish rap. It's bomb. Really good music. We've been friends for a long time. We met through Poppy, and we've been trying to get on a song. This is actually our first song that we've done together. So it's really special that it's a holiday song. And it's one of my favorite verses that I've done this year because it really makes me feel good. Like, real good feeling from that song.
Esto para todos los panas, comenzamos desde abajo. Esto para los bandoleros que están en el cielo. Esto para los traperos que mueven el trabajo. Esto para el mundo entero. Ya tú sabes lo que hacemos. Es que vamos a celebrar con los panas que lo mantiene real. Sube volumen que lo vamos a gozar. Con la comida que vamos a comer, que vamos a comer. Es que vamos a celebrar con los panas que lo mantiene real. Sube volumen que lo vamos a gozar. Con la comida que vamos a comer, que vamos a comer, que vamos a celebrar.
In the living room with my favorite cousin. Stand up, we ain't waiting up for nothing. We about to eat good, I'm talking back, yeah, I'm stuffing. You know I can't wait to get the
So one thing I was entertained by here is the that there's a skit in the middle.
Yeah, the skit.
So why put a skit in?
Poppy actually came up with the idea of the skit, with the radio skit, because, bro, we got Raj and we just want to utilize Raj is like a superpower, so we try to utilize him as much as possible. We was like, yeah, and it's very nostalgic. So Poppy thought of it, and he gave the idea to Raj, Gutta, T3, and then they all came through. They came through, and it was amazing.
Also, Icy and Poppy, like they really like putting skits on their projects.
Yes.
And I think skits are a lost art form that really help to increase the enjoyability and entertainment of an album.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times now, because people are only concerned about streams on like one particular song and having a hit record, and as a body of work, like having an album as a body of work with all of the interconnected parts of it.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't really do that anymore. So like, I'm always happy when, you know, they come to me like, hey, we got an idea for a skit. So when they came for me with this one, they had like a lot of different parts, and they were like, this is kind of like what we want to do. And like some of the drops were a little bit out of place where they felt like we couldn't necessarily use them. But like, I was like, I got it. Like, you go ahead. They were going to get something to eat. And while they were gone, I finished it and sent it to them. And they were like, yo, like, this is perfect.
Yeah, it was crazy how Raj cooked it up. Like he did like surgery on that skit and made it amazing. I love it.
Oh,
You
that's
know, like
right.
with podcasts, like, you know, like we're talking and you get different parts and you got to kind of like edit up and cut it up to make it make sense. So, you know, we made it make sense, and I thought, great.
What's up, y'all? It's Raj Smoove on Fried 50.4 Radio, where we giving you more for the holidays. I'm about to take some calls so y'all can put y'all hoods on the map for Santa. What's Zam? Who I got on the line?
What's Zam, Raj? This Gutta.
Gutta, trapping out the gingerbread house. What's good, baby?
Tell Santa don't forget about that east side before Young Money come to that North Pole.
Bet that. Man, tell Toon I'm coming to y'all spot for Christmas dinner. What y'all cooking?
Whatever you want to eat.
For sure, I'm in.
I have to say, I love skits. And it's one of the reasons, as time has passed, I feel like New Orleans hip-hop really does still have a strong connection back to kind of first generations of hip-hop that in other cities I don't know enough to know for sure, but it feels like there's a stronger connection here, and especially with things like that. Like I love skits because nothing else, skits always made records really listenable, that you would go 3 or 4 songs that kind of hung together, skit. And they always kind of broke it into nice, really listenable chunks.
It did, yeah.
And you also got a sense of who those people are, even if it's just their nutty sense of humor. In some cases, you just knew how much they smoked by what they thought was funny. But nonetheless, I loved skits, and so I thought y'all putting one in here not only made sense, but it kind of felt like it gave this some context that was really useful for thinking about the music.
Thank you. Yeah, definitely we wanted to show people just more about New Orleans with that skit, like, and how we think and how we talk.
Now, there are people who in here should I know about that I don't know now. And I see like we've got who's on the verge of becoming somebody or becoming somebody we need to pay more attention to in the next year or so.
Yeah,
definitely like Odd and Indies.
Huh?
I was saying definitely like Odd and Indies.
Yeah.
The artist, Odd, she raps, she sings, she produces, she DJs. Like, she's definitely a multi-threat. She's been in the lab working on some material that's really, I think it's really going to be a great project that she's been working on. Indies has been making a lot of noise, and she was a part of like New Orleans Fashion Week. She performed. She did some stuff for Essence. She performed at Xavier's Tailgate. She's been getting a lot of views on her, social media videos and stuff. So, she's definitely been buzzing around.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I can say I met Odd around Jazz Fest this year. Since I did a piece on the Global Warming Collective before they played Jazz Fest, and met her, and also it was kind of fascinating. First, how young she was, how young she is, but also having her in with the other people who were all there, and she was both like so excited to be around everybody, but also kind of shy at the same time, and it was really cool. And then since then, I've started to hear more and more of what she does, and it's like, you have nothing to be shy about. You're got
Facts.
So
yeah, Wish List is my favorite song on the project, and she produced and wrote that one.
I don't want too much for Christmas. I just wanna rock with you. Plus, I got you on my wish list. Now I can see that you do too. On my wish list. I just need your kisses. We just finished Thanksgiving. I guess I'm not done giving.
So what's coming next for you? Now that you've got this out of the way, what are you doing?
Well, me and Poppy, now we're about to finish up our live album. We're doing a live album of our Fried project. So we're about to work on that. We're working on a cookbook as well, a fried cookbook. And after that, I'll be working on some singles that I've already have done that I just need to get mixed.
Oh, that's cool. That's interesting. That idea of having like 3 or 4 things all going on at the same time, songs ready to go out, and while other things are happening. Tell me about how that works. Give me an insight into the kind of the hip hop marketplace now. Like, how does it? Because it is. I've been listening to people talking about, albums, EPs, releases, and how that all right now is a really new jumble and very different from the way records came out certainly 15, 20 years ago, and probably different from the way they came out 10 years ago. Yeah.
I feel like it's super fast paced. Like, I feel like I have to stay on my toes and have something ready to be dropped at all times. Because people just lose focus and interest in artists so easily. I got to constantly remind people I'm working. I'm constantly working. I'm consistent. I got this new project. Like, I feel like if I don't keep dropping, like, people, they move on fast.
And I want to give, props to Icy and Poppy as well. And one of the reasons why, like, I'm always super excited to work with them because, they always have like a marketing plan. You know what I'm saying? It's not just, I have these songs and I want to put them out in the marketplace and I hope people listen to them. It's like, hey, we have a whole rollout that we want to do with a fan event where we can have people come and make custom jewelry to go along with the project or something. Or the name of the project is Fried. So we're going to have like a cookout picnic and we're going to invite people to play the music. And, and it's always like multiples of things that's going on. So like even the idea with the cookbook is that, like Fried as a project and its kind of connection to food in New Orleans, and the album cover looks like an old Liedenheim, advertisement, with the two people eating the French bread. Like there are all of these different angles and different products that exist around the music. So it's not just like the music is a vehicle to bring attention to all of the other branding opportunities that you have available. And, Icy is always great about having a lot of different ideas. Like sometimes it's more than I can keep up with. And I'm like, how we do all this stuff? And it takes time because, again, in August was when Fried released, and we've been talking about the cookbook since the summer, but it's one of those things that, it takes time to work on, but it's finally, getting done. It's going to come to market. But it also creates that constant flow of content and product out to the marketplace so that, you kind of end up being everywhere. Saying it's not just, just find me on Spotify. Like, hey, find me at the bookstore on Amazon where you can download my cookbook. Or, one of the other promo things that we did for the Fried release was we had a signature combo meal at Bub's Burgers. You know what I'm saying? For a week, people could go and order the fried meal, and it was for 2 people, and it came with a keychain that had Icy and Poppy on the keychain. This, corporate partnership. These are all of the ways now in this new landscape where it's not just about the music. It's about, as an artist, being a brand and being a product yourself and treating yourself as such.
Don't forget us on your map. 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 Don't forget. Come on, say Nick, where you at? Where you at?
Thanks to Raj Smoove and 504icygrl for the time and the talk. You can find Christmas in New Orleans online and on the streaming platforms. Cher and her Christmas album are easily found, as are the holiday specials by Casey Musgraves, Bill Murray, and Dolly Parton. Robert Glasper's In December is an Apple Music exclusive as far as I can tell, so you'll have to find his collaboration with Tank there. You can find me at alex@myspiltmilk.com. I already have some ideas for next year, but if there are artists you think I should know about or try to talk to, let me know. I always have a list going, but I'm happy to add the name of anyone I think I can have an interesting conversation with. Finally, if you want to stream my 2023 playlist, I'll put a link to that in the show notes. In the past, I've talked to Christmas music collector Bill Adler, and he put his Christmas Jollies compilation online this year as well, since he, like me, discovered how few people actually play CDs anymore. I'll put a link to his playlist in the show notes too, as well as Jim Goodwin's Christmas Underground playlist. In the last days before Christmas, you'll only hear the holiday canon songs because you want to, not because you have to. Thanks for listening, and if you haven't done so already, I hope you'll subscribe, follow, or do whatever you have to do to get 12 songs in your podcast feed. That way you'll know when we're back in the summer to take you from Christmas in July to December 25th. Finally, if this year's Christmas season belongs to anyone other than Cher, it's Brenda Lee, who's rocking around the Christmas tree finally, briefly, dethroned Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas Is You on top of Billboard's Hot 100. Chris Melanphy wrote a piece on how that happened for Slate, and the New York Times profiled Lee. I'll put a link to both of those in the show notes. We don't need to hear Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree again, and I've played her excellent Papa Noel and Airsat's Cajun song before on the show. Let's wrap up with a song that was new to me this year. I was introduced to it by New Orleans artist Bruzy Peets, who performed I'm Gonna Lasso Santa Claus at a Christmas show this season. We'll finish 2023 there. Merry Christmas, and talk to y'all next year.